Do you see a sperm cell inside this structure?
Yes.
Call this as the zygote. The fertilized egg is called as the zygote. When a sperm cell nucleus unites with the egg cell nucleus, it forms the first. So if you hear that all of us started as a single cell once upon a time, that's a reference to this cell, and the name is the zygote.
It's the little red line.
The whole thing is a zygote, that single cell. But keep in mind that the word zygote is only useful for about 24 or 30 hours at the most. What happens after that? This cell starts to undergo cell division. So remember, where does fertilization takes place? Look right here. There is the vagina is here. So this is where sperm cells are deposited. So they swim out of the semen, travel through cervical canal, travel through the cavity of the uterus, and then travel a good distance to find the egg cell right here. So the farthest that the egg cell travels is really perhaps not at the most a couple, an inch or 2 inches. So call the uterine tube as the site of fertilization. Where the sperm cell meets the egg cell is the site of fertilization. Where does it take place? Where does fertilization take place?
On the
Inside the uterine
Tube.
tube or the fallopian tube?
fallopian tube.
Then you should say, following fertilization, over the course of the next 72 hours, this zygote is going to travel gradually, and as it does that, it undergoes what is called as cleavage. Please remember this term, cleavage. Cleavage means repetitive mitosis. Repetitive mitotic division or mitosis. So you have the zygote here. A little later it becomes 2 cells. A little later it becomes 4 cells. A little later it becomes 8 cells. And a little later it becomes 16. So by the end of the 3rd day or 72 hours, look right here. So call this at the 2 cell stage. So keep on bringing it closer. 2 cell stage. Call here the 4 cell stage. Then you have the 8 cell stage. Look, the 8 cells. By the end of 72 hours, you should say you have a solid ball of about 32 cells, 16 to 32 cells. That solid ball is called as the morulla. Please find the word morulla. So for the test, if I want you to identify the morulla, I can use this piece or I can simply put a pointer here. Make sure you see them. Did everyone see them at 2 locations? Either here on this one, both of them are morulla.
You said 16 to 32 cells.
16 to 32 cells, about 16, call it 32, it doesn't matter. Look, you are now right by the brim, by the entrance into the cavity of the uterus. This is 3 days later after following fertilization. 3 days later. If I give you a true-false question, ovulation and fertilization takes on the same day, is that true or false? True or false?
False.
Wait, say that again.
Ovulation and fertilization happens on the same day.
False.
That is true because
It's true.
how long does it
Gotta
live
be able to
once
say
it is
you're
released?
pregnant.
What is the lifespan of an egg cell after ovulation? It only lives 12 to 24 hours. So you should say the moment it is released, within 12, in fact the average they say 14 hours, it has to find a sperm cell to fertilize it. So you won't be wrong if you say the day of ovulation and the day of fertilization are the same day. So when I say 72 hours later, I mean from the day of fertilization or from the day of ovulation. It means the same.
The egg has to be there in order to get it fertilized, right?
Yeah, the egg has to be there and the sperm has to be there to
Yeah.
fertilize it.
But I guess fertilization and ovulation.
So look at the morulla right here. And the next thing I want you to say, On the fourth day, the morula drops inside the cavity of the uterus. Somewhere between the fourth and fifth day, look what happens. It changes into another structure known as a blastocyst. So around the fifth day, you have a hollow sphere instead of a solid ball. So the difference between a morula and a blastocyst is the blastocyst has a hollow, it is a hollow sphere. So draw it like this. The surface cells, we call them as trophoblasts. I will put them here. And go ahead and put this cavity, call this as cavity. This is a cavity. And I want you to put in one corner, very important for you to remember, look right here, in one corner of this blastocyst, you have a cluster of cells which are really the markers. These are the future embryo and the future human being, the cells. So I want you to remember the names of these cells. In your book, they call them by a different name, inner cell mass, but what I want you to call them for the test is embryoblast cells. Do you remember osteoblast cells from NP 101? Chondroblast cells are fast-growing cells. So call them as embryoblasts. Or you can also call them stem cells of the embryo. Stem cells of the embryo. Is there anyone who doesn't know about the controversy regarding the use of stem cells? Have you heard of stem cells?
Yeah, I have. I was thinking about that. They use a lot of, it's so controversial because of this issue, because the stem cells come from embryo.
Yeah, it is these cells.
Yeah.
So what the science says is that if they are allowed to use this cell within the first 3 to 4 days after fertilization, they have the know-how. Stem cells are undifferentiated cells, so they can make these cells into liver, into heart, into bone, any desired organ. The science says they have the know-how.
But they feel like, some people feel like they're breeding babies for that very purpose and that they shouldn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was going to
Yes.
tell you. The reason, so if you are a pro-science person, and if you know that they benefit to solve major health problems if they are used, like Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, they think that they can correct major health problems, diabetes and so on. You can use them to replace those damaged pancreatic islets.
Is that what Planned Parenthood is doing? They were using those stem cells?
They use them for,
They were
they are
selling
not,
them to
but
the
they
kids.
say they have the know-how. They have tried it in other animals.
Yeah.
But in humans, I don't know if they tried it. But if you are a pro-life people, you say, although these cells have not assumed a human shape, we have no right to interfere with their future growth. So the pro-life people are